we'd have one more story, which is thankfully a lot more positive than the rest of the shit we've been dealing with today. And that's the fact that San Francisco officials are seeking proposals for 1.6 million US dollars to be awarded over the next 2 years, aimed at boosting the lives of black transgender residents and other LGBT plus people of color in the area. Now, this actually comes from two different funds. There's 1,375,000 US dollars, which is to be divided among 3 different organizations over the next 2 years, specifically for their programs aimed at black trans individuals, especially black trans women, which anyone who watched my recent Blair White video will know is the demographic with the highest rate of murder. I believe it's between 2 and 77 times higher than the average population, if I remember correctly, via estimates. So to see actual funding go specifically to help them, that's just lovely to see. The Human Rights Commission is also accepting proposals for $250,000 in funding over the next 2 years. And this funding will be divided between 2 organizations which are designed to help queer people of color, particularly black, trans, and non-binary entrepreneurs, who want to open their own business in San Francisco. Because of course, being the intersection of being a black trans person, it's hard enough in America as a black person. That's come to the forefront more than ever recently. It's always been hard and it's largely been ignored. The wounds entrenched by racism and slavery and everything are still prevalent. But on top of that, you also have the intersection of being trans and not necessarily being accepted by family, as with all demographics, but those things can then double up. And it puts an already at-risk demographic at extreme risk. So it's good to see that there are efforts being made consciously to help these demographics. And hopefully this is just the start of things. Special consideration will be given to organizations with experience working with sex workers, formerly incarcerated people, thank you dear, marginally housed people, and survivors of violence. So again, they are trying to help the, I'm trying to think, the worst off among society. And the city department, I should say, quote, the city department and the mayor's office will then confer on the final decision, and awardees will be notified by January the 22nd. The programs receiving grants should begin February the 1st and run through to January 31st of 2023. So yes, it's just, I keep saying it's nice. But they talk about how the fact that a lot of trans organizations only get 1% of government contracts, and large foundation-based contracts, so they're being starved financially. I can speak about India a little bit, but I don't know how things are with the ongoing pandemic in the US and charity organizations. I imagine they are probably suffering, as most are. So again, to see this money being put aside, and from what I've read in the Bay Area Reporter, it seems that it is being a black-led effort. So it's taking in their considerations, because there's always the fears of, this money is going to be pledged, given, and it's just going to disappear. It's going to be siphoned off somewhere. So yeah, I don't know if either of you have anything you really want to say on that.
Oh, sorry. I'm not being very useful today.
I do apologize. Our stories may not have quite so many points today.
I also did not get a chance to do notes.
Okay.
This is why I do notes, people. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So here's the plot I was trying to find. Since August, the City Department has held more than 60 meetings with various Black community and other diverse stakeholders about how to best invest the funding. So again, it has been community led. This is not just a bunch of white people sitting around screwing things up. Hopefully, if the article's accurate. So yeah. And I think that is really it. It's nice to have a nice-ish story to end on, really.